tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Shades of cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm so...
Welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host, Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I've put my hands on the table. I talk Star Wars with this man every week.
So, I lied last week when I said we talk about Tales from the Rancor Pit.
Yeah, you did.
Today, we're talking about Tales of Enlightenment, the Unusual Suspect short story by George Mann. But before we get into that, let's talk about some Star Wars news.
Mm-hmm.
First off, we got a new clip from The Mandalorian Season 3, where we get to see Din and Grogu return to Navarro, and we get a scene of Din talking to Grief Karga, who we saw take control of the planet after they ran the Empire off.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that clip together. Let me get it all ready.
Is this one... Should we
show our new... Okay. Hold on. I figured out what the issue was.
Oh?
Yeah.
What would it be?
I accidentally unplugged the USB.
Ah.
There we go. We're back.
That'll do it.
Technical difficulty. Okay, I gotta move my computer here so that way you can watch the clip with me.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna make sure the window capture is getting the right thing.
Oh.
And then we'll, just in case you don't want to be spoiled for the show, in case you're waiting to watch Mando completely, like no, like nothing, we're gonna go ahead and put a spoiler warning for you until it's done.
Yep, there you go. You've been warned.
Oh, let me resize that, because you got to see us. Plus, what good's a spoiler warning on that if they can see it, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, ready?
Yep.
Now, as I was saying, there's a beautiful parcel available right down here by the flats.
I appreciate the offer, but I have some matters to look after.
I'm confused. I thought you had completed your mission, but you're still running around here with the same little critter.
It's complicated. I completed my quest. He returned to me. I removed my helmet, and now I'm in apostate.
Which is all the more reason for you to stay here with us. Where you're from, you may be an apostate, but here, you'll be landed gentry.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming out March 1st. Like, we're almost there. It's almost Mando time. So, it's not, you don't get a lot out of it.
No.
But you get, you get just enough to kind of get where... this is probably early on in the show, in the season. And so we'll, there's stuff to definitely talk about in regards with that. With, more than likely we're going to see plenty of people try to make offers to Din to kind of be like, hey, you don't have to go back to that cult,
Then I want to go back to the cult. I also love this scene of just Grogu in that scene, just Grogu using the Force to spin around in the chair
and then grab a snack.
Yeah, I'm like, that is something that a child with Force powers would do.
Right, it brings you back to like when you're a kid and you go like with your dad to the office.
Yeah.
And like there's just that spinning chair, and so you just sit in it, and what else are you gonna do while they're talking business? You don't care about business, so whee!
Yeah. And I do love that Grief Cargo points out, like, hey, you don't have to go.
You don't owe them anything.
You don't owe them anything. You could stay here. You're very well liked in this area.
Yeah, you'd live a life of luxury, in fact, compared to like if you went back.
Yeah. And Mando's like, I have to go take a bath. You don't understand.
This armor really chafes. I've been in this armor so long. I really need my bath. Oh, I can take the spoiler warning off. I really need that bath.
Oh god, so many people are gonna be angry that I have reduced.
I mean, it's a funny joke.
Yeah.
If they can't take a joke, who cares? Look, you know what? No. Should I rant about... Well, it's not really a rant.
No.
It's me making fun of these people. But should I talk about my TikTok/YouTube short
I mean,
today?
you can.
So I did it's a trend currently on TikTok to do the character brackets thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a ton of different brackets. There's movie brackets, video game brackets, like where you just pick your favorite, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to get, because it's mostly Star Wars content, I decided to get in on the Star Wars character bracket today. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just make a quick little video of me doing a bracket. So I pick Leia over Vader, which is where the controversy begins.
Mm-hmm.
There are, at this moment, like 5 comments on the YouTube side.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think this shows the difference between YouTube and TikTok in terms of fandom. I don't think the TikTok fandom is as bad. There's definitely some bad people on the TikTok fandom for Star Wars there, because I've seen some comments. It's still bad, but I think YouTube will straight up just... Well, also, YouTube Shorts, there is no, like... I think the algorithm just throws it to anybody.
Yeah.
Despite what other people have tried to convince me of. There's no way that there's a specific algorithm for how these get thrown on YouTube. But some of my favorites... Well, no, I'll just read them all, because there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this Earth? Vader is the best. To which I respond, a fair opinion, just not mine. How the fuck does Vader lose to Leia? I just like her character better. Pretty simple. Bro, I respect everyone's opinion, but what the fuck? Vader would destroy Leia in all ways possible. This isn't a fight. And me doing the LMAO emoji. Okay, but what are you basing this on? Character development, likability, popularity, etc., etc.? Personal preference? Please, I need to know. Personal preference, just like anyone else who does this. And then LMAO emoji. Because at this point, it's a joke to me. Because, like... Why are you so pressed? I mean, I don't mind that you're commenting because you're feeding the algorithm. Because while I don't believe that there's an algorithm that specifically feeds to specific... Like, I don't think that if you watch Star Wars YouTube Shorts, you're going to get more Star Wars YouTube Shorts. I think you get just whatever YouTube Shorts are that YouTube wants to push.
Yeah.
But I do think the algorithm will push highly interacted with videos out. So the more you interact with my YouTube Short, the more it's going to get views, which currently it has over 1,000 views already. And it's only been up since 9 or 10.
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So you know, not long comparatively, like, for my content. I mean, for 3 hours. So, yeah, so 10.
All right.
So, you know, and that's better. Actually, it's not better than my character guesser, which was me doing another non-Star Wars video. But that's because I've been not feeling well, so I didn't feel like making a video yesterday. Yeah. So I just popped one that was in my drafts.
Yeah, when you're sick, you go.
Yeah, and so that one has 1,800 views right now. Meanwhile, my Star Wars video, my last Star Wars video, which was two days ago, was the Bounty Hunters one.
Yeah.
And that's done 500 views on YouTube. So, like, it's done half the work. And I'm just like, why is the one that I put more effort into doing less? Because for that one, I had to read the comic, write down a review, add some music, give some little bit of, like, I actually edited that. You know, I put a spoiler warning. The ones that I do the most work on get the least amount of views, while the ones that I kind of just do in TikTok with the TikTok filter are the ones that get the views, even on YouTube.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's definitely a broken system.
Says something about the world we live in, doesn't it?
Let's compare that to how it's doing on TikTok. That bracket is actually doing terribly on TikTok today. It's only got 10 views on TikTok.
Damn.
Compared to the 1,000 views on YouTube. Which once again proves my theory that YouTube Shorts is broken. But that's good for us because, you know, the more... Honestly, little secret for how we get so many subscribers. I just do a YouTube Short every day. Because YouTube Shorts get a ton of views. Whereas even my daily content does not always get the same number of views. Yeah. Like, my Let's Plays don't get a lot of views comparatively to a YouTube Short.
Yep.
Because YouTube, regular videos, you do have to have, like... The algorithm does recommend based on what you watch.
Yeah.
Whereas YouTube Shorts, it doesn't care. It just throws whatever to the wall. It's like, here, you're gonna watch this. Whereas regular YouTube video, they're like, oh, you like this type of video? Here you go. And so, unless I spend advertisement money on a regular video, then it will get some views. Let's get rid of that. Yep. Come on. Think we got him. I can check on the YouTube side, but yeah, we don't play with hate like that around here. We are all about making everybody feel welcome here. Yep. Okay, they've been dealt with.
All right.
So where was I? But yeah, so that kind of just proves my theory on how the YouTube algorithm works. So, moving on.
Yeah, what else we got?
Well, a new excerpt from Jedi Battle Scars has been released this week.
All right.
And as usual, we're going to go ahead and read it for you guys. Spoiler warning for anyone who wishes to wait for the book to be released. And I'll put the little spoiler warning up until we're done reading the excerpt.
Yep.
Reaching out through the Force was second nature to Seer at this point in her life. It was as much one of her senses as sight or smell, a constant input and output from her energetic body that pulsed into the world around her, flowed through her mind, seeped out of her pores. She let her mind roll out through her palm, across the rapidly closing space between herself and the onrushing Inquisitor, into his lightsaber, and all at once slowed. Her nerves felt electrified as she rushed down each side of the sword, its blazing atoms searing her brain, and she willed it just enough, not too much to get her into trouble, to hold. She knew what Cal would see from where he was getting back on his feet. He would see the Inquisitor slow like he was hitting a wall of water, his feet betraying his own orders to continue their forward motion. He would see the red lightsaber and its circular threat halt, frozen mid-spin, returning to its less dangerous form. He would watch the Inquisitor sweat as he tried to push back through the Force to regain control over himself and over his lightsaber, and he would see the dawning fear on the Inquisitor's face as he realized he was outmatched. Seer had faced down Darth Vader himself and lived. She had come the closest any living soul ever had to ending the Sith's reign of terror over the galaxy. She was possibly the most powerful remaining Jedi in existence. and she wasn't going to let this punk forget it. She felt the pushback through the Force, the Inquisitor's attempt at ruining her control, and bit down on her bottom lip. There was a way to end him through the Force, just like this, and it would be so easy. It would be an assured victory. To flow up from his lightsaber over his arms, to spill over his shoulders and creep around his neck before he even became suspicious, before he was even able to notice. All she'd have to do was curl her fingers into a claw as she squeezed the Force around his neck. She would watch the light drain from his eyes, and she would know that the Mantis crew would be safe, that the future of the Jedi Order would be one step closer to assured. Connecting to that energy, to the dark side. That was how she'd held out for so long against Vader. She knew it, and Vader had too. But that was a slippery slope to nowhere good, and Seer didn't have to go there ever again. Not against someone else. Not against someone who pulls back at her through the Force with raw emotion, all rage and spite and lack of control. And of course, one of the ways the dark side lied to you was trying to convince you it was the only way. For in truth, it was Seer connecting to the light again that had allowed her to defeat Vader in that moment after all. She could feel that the fifth brother was getting ready to break, but she would use the light to break him first. With a yell, Seer dropped her hand and the control over the Inquisitor's lightsaber in movement and flung herself toward him, launching herself forward with her blue blade. It took him too long to realize he'd been freed. He wasn't ready for her when she came at him in a flurry of swipes that put him on the defensive. With each clash of their weapons, Seer hit again and again, matching his style almost exactly, knowing that it would disconcert him and keep him off balance to see his own technique mimicked back at him and more effectively. Want to finish this? Cal was beside her, lightsaber out, up and ready, and the Inquisitor's eyes were wide at the challenge of two Jedi at once, both bearing down on him with the ferocity he clearly hadn't been expecting when he showed up to take down Cal on his own. So, thoughts?
I liked it, although that's a bit of embellishment on your part, Seer. That is some extreme overconfidence. I'm going to assume that's the dark side talking to you.
I mean, yes.
Because
I think this excerpt makes it clear that she's not.
I think
her struggle with the dark side continues as ever. Because the dark
it doesn't go away.
No, your struggle with the dark side never ends. That's something that's consistent in Star Wars, is especially if you've already dipped into it. If you've dipped into it, it's going to be even worse at continuously coming for you.
Yeah. She's like, I came the closest to killing Vader. I'm like, aren't you the same?
To be fair, as far as she knew.
As far as she knows. However, I remember how that last little bit of that game starts, and that interaction starts as
where
well.
Where he flings
her
her over.
Flings her out of the way.
But that's before she dips into the dark side.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what this scene is kind of talking about, is when she went into the dark side.
Okay, that didn't work. The power
of the dark side compels you. Was that where you were about to go with it, but you stopped yourself?
No, that's not where I was. The power of the dark side is very much like.
Well, we know it's like a drug.
Yeah, it's like adrenaline-fueled anger for the most part.
Yeah.
It's going to help you, maybe once or twice in that moment, but it's not a long-term thing.
No,
it isn't sustainable.
No, it's not the end-all, be-all. And it shouldn't be. It's something in your back pocket. But honestly, you shouldn't even reach then for it.
Questionable.
Yeah.
That's like in case you are completely screwed.
And even then,
that's that is a fucking, this better work, and you're going to have problems later.
Yeah.
It's like,
honestly, there is no reason to touch it.
I was going to say,
because I don't think our analogies are really working to explain the dark side, because you really shouldn't ever touch it.
I'm someone who does not.
Yeah.
As a person who comes at things and has calmed down from a lot of anger in the past.
Yeah, but so
you learn later on that it's like, that wasn't fucking necessary at all.
Yeah, but I think
But in this moment,
I think in this universe that doesn't always work.
it is tempting to return to that.
Yeah. But yeah.
But I like it.
I mean, I like that we're really delving into these characters, and I'm glad that's what this book is doing. I've already started to listen to the book because I got my arc.
Heard some in the car.
I got my arc last night, so I started listening to it. I'm enjoying it. I'm not too far into it because the first excerpt I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil anything, but.
Although this does imply that Seer eventually got around to reconstructing a lightsaber.
Yeah, and I figured, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, I'm like, what, she's just gonna use an Inquisitor lightsaber forever?
Because we do learn, yeah. I'm surprised they hadn't delved into the idea of purifying a crystal, since they had an Inquisitor lightsaber.
I feel like they're going to cover that in the book. I don't know.
And if they don't,
in
Survivor, maybe we have the option to have a silver crystal through purifying.
Maybe.
Because what happened? Did Seer just toss out the Inquisitor saber? So no, that's a powerful weapon to kind of just throw out and hope nobody in the galaxy finds.
I could understand why she would do it.
Yeah. But it's also the weapon of her apprentice that she failed, and I would see a more emotional story in the idea of her purifying it.
Mm.
If Cal doesn't.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, at least so far, wherever this excerpt takes place, she hasn't. Because they say a blue, Chris. They say it's a blue lightsaber that she has.
I do like the idea that this Inquisitor rocked up to fight Cal and got jumped by Seer.
Yeah, because this is Fifth Brother. So this is Fifth Brother. We've seen him before. He's in Rebels, and he's on the cover of this book. He's also in He's also in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. He's the big, bulky guy. That's Fifth Brother. The big football player looking guy, like he could be a linebacker. Am I wrong?
No, it's just I've never.
He looks like he could be a linebacker.
Oh my god.
But yeah, Fifth Brother rocks up, and it sounds like he was kicking Cal's ass.
Yeah,
and then Seer,
pretty hard.
Because Cal was apparently in water, and he had to wake up. Because Seer was like, I'll just distract long enough for Cal to get back up. But yeah, so I guess Seer jumps in, saves him, and then Cal's like, all right, I'm ready to go. You ready for 2-on-1? Yeah. And Fifth Brother's like, fuck.
Fuck this, I'm out. I'm gonna leave. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
And honestly, smart Inquisitor. It's very rare that the villains are this smart, where they're like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this 2-on-1 fight. Maybe I shouldn't get cocky about it. Yeah. I'm gonna go. It's very rare.
To be honest, well, I don't think most of the Inquisitors I've seen, they seem to work in pairs.
Yeah, because at least so in Rebels, Grand Inquisitor's on his own, but that's because he's the boss man. The boss. But then we get after he dies. Spoilers for Rebels.
Yeah.
We get introduced to Seventh Sister and Fifth Brother, and they're working in pairs. And then we get introduced on I just dropped the name of the planet, Malachor.
All right.
Malachor, we get introduced to, I forget what number, but it's a brother, and he's on there by himself. But that's because he's on more of a stealth recon mission, because he's trying to figure out what Maul is up to and what he's looking for at the Sith Temple there on Malachor. And then that's it for Inquisitors, because after that, we don't really deal with Inquisitors for the rest of the series.
The thing is, I don't know how long the Inquisitors are around for, but they tend to operate in, pairs.
Unless
they've been sent off on,
mission. Yeah, unless it's... if they are facing off Jedi, it's usually in pairs, I've noticed, too. Now, Reva's an exception, because Reva goes after Obi-Wan, but she's technically ordered to work with Fifth Brother and I think it's third sister.
Yeah.
The one that we don't really, the one that doesn't talk in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That's there when they get to the Milk Planet.
Yeah.
the drug world.
They're there doing their actual job, but Reva's like, I have to play the role.
Reva decides to go rogue.
Yeah.
Because Reva's still doing her thing of, I have to look like I'm angry enough and I'm on the Empire's side when I'm not.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Obi-Wan.
And I'm like, I know these guys operate in pairs, so unless this guy leaves and I know why. Because most of the time, I think Fifth Brother was operating under the assumption that Cal was going to be alone.
Yes.
Because most Jedi are.
Well, yeah, because at this time, most Jedi are hiding by themselves because the bigger in pairs they are, the more likely that the Force, that you can feel them through the Force because bigger little, like, Force gathering.
Yeah.
It's very Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Oh, boy.
But we're not going to go into
Not gonna
that.
get into that.
But you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Like, of course they're going to be able to feel you through the Force. There are 3 of you in the same room.
Yeah. And while the Force is on your side, the Force, it's going to call you out a little bit because you exist.
Yep. So, I think standard operating procedure is for 2 Inquisitors to jump 1 Jedi.
Just because, you know. But at this point, we're also, I think, if I remember correctly, I want to say this is like after Obi-Wan's happened.
I think so.
Let me look up the official timeline
Because
again.
I remember that Fallen Order happens before.
Because the whole joke of, like, everybody was commenting on the whole Obi-Wan breaking into Fortress Inquisitoris, and they were like, this is the first time somebody did it. No. Everybody was like, no, Cal did.
This is the second time this has happened.
It's just nobody knew because you didn't learn, like, obviously the path didn't, the good path, not the path of the open hand, but the good path that's in Obi-Wan. The undercover, the Jedi Railroad, they didn't know about Cal at the time. It's very confusing that there are 2 paths in Star Wars now. Because now I have to specify. Am I talking about
one gives gifts freely given, and the other one doesn't?
I'm either talking about during the Empire time, or I'm talking about the path of the open hand. If I'm talking Obi-Wan and Cal Kestis and that era, I'm talking about the good guy's path.
Oh.
Just to clarify. Oh, hey, Dr. Mad Studio. Yeah, Force Unleashed novel is pretty good, yeah. I've been playing the video game lately, so that's probably why they're commenting on that. Because I have been playing the video game lately to prep up for Jedi Survivor, since I beat Fallen Order on the hardest difficulty. I figured I'll go back and play some other games that are semi-connected.
All right.
I've gave my spiel on why I don't think The Force Unleashed is as connected to the Jedi series as some people do, because a lot of people say that The Force Unleashed inspired the Jedi games. I'd say the Jedi Knight Dark Forces games are more the inspiration, and apparently so would the actor who plays Cal Kestis, because he thinks of Cal as very similar to Kyle Katarn. I don't see the similarities there, but hey, if you are watching this video, I would love to have that conversation with you in person, because I think you're a really great actor. And I love your Cal Kestis.
What was up with the 2000s and, like, everything got real dark and gritty for some reason?
Well,
Never mind. I actually mentally made an answer for that.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, we're currently talking about the Jedi Survivor book that's coming out soon, Battle Scars. But yeah.
I want to see some more of this.
So I'm looking at the timeline right now. So Jedi Battle Scars, from the look of it, takes place around 12 or 11 BBY, which is after Kenobi, I believe. No. It's before Kenobi. Hold on. Double checking. Yeah, it's before the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Because it's before Solo, which takes place before Obi-Wan.
All right.
Because Obi-Wan is 9 BBY. Because Luke is already 10.
Yeah.
And so is Leia. So, yeah. So this book takes place before Obi-Wan, but the game Survivor is going to be after Obi-Wan.
All right.
But this is only taking place a few years after Fallen Order, because Fallen Order is 14 BBY, I believe. Yeah. So it's about, I think it's like 3 years is what it's supposed to take place. So I think it's supposed to be 11. So that's my guess.
Okay.
If I remember correctly from what I remember hearing. And that makes sense with where they've placed it here on Wikipedia. Yeah,
All right.
they say somewhere between 12 and 11. And that would give enough time to give us a little bit of that traditional Star Wars year gap.
Yeah.
Where you have a few years between something. And then that way you can have characters... The characters can have, like, move forward a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
Different
they can...
dynamics.
Yeah, have that different dynamic.
So...
But yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into the book more. Like I said, I've been able to start listening to it, because I got the audiobook, and so I'm ready to really dig into it, and then I guess share my opinion when the book comes out, because I can't share. I mean, I can share that I'm enjoying it, but I can't like
share anything about it.
Yeah, I don't.
Until it's
like,
released.
There's
to the
no.
public.
Yeah, like there's no official contracts or anything. But it's more of a
professional courtesy.
Yeah, it's a professional courtesy that you don't share anything until the book is out, and on top of that, you don't really. I mean, even then, I do a non-spoiler review when the book comes out because I'm like, hey, I want you guys to read it. Usually, usually that's why I'm doing it. Is I'm like, hey, I'm not going to share anything, but I'm going to share my opinions on it and any like similarities to other things in Star Wars that might convince you to check it out. That's usually how I review things.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that's it for that one.
Yeah, that's it for that
Moving on.
segment. But also so I know we're still in the new year, but we're already getting ready for Halloween. As Dark Horse has announced that on September 5th, Tales from the Death Star will be released.
All right.
So they've already made an announcement for Tales from the Death Star. No cover yet, because it's so far out. It will be similar to Tales from the Rancor Pit, which is what we were going to read this week, but now we're reading next week. In that it will be a single graphic novel. So look out for that on September 5th. They did give a little synopsis. That's no moon. Even scattered and destroyed, the ruins of the Death Star are a sinister place. From the destruction of Alderaan to the shadow of the Forest Moon, alien creatures, phantom starships, deadly artifacts, and vengeful spirits all stalk the halls of the infamous space station. As writer Cavan Scott, known for Tales from the Rancor Pit and Star Wars The High Republic, and an all-star team of artists, Eric Powell, Sue Lee, Vincenzo Riccardi, Ingo Rumling, and Juan Samu, hopefully I didn't butcher any of those names, revealed the hidden evils that lurked within charred remains of the ultimate firepower in the universe.
Well, there would have to be some evil stuff in there. Did you see how big it was?
But yeah, so we're getting that. Obviously, makes sense that they're announcing it. I figured they would announce it probably closer to, so we'll probably get a cover preview at Celebration. But
more than likely.
But yeah, so it looks like we'll probably get that, like... hopefully we'll get that actually in time.
Yeah.
Unlike Tales from the Rancor Pit. Tales from the Rancor Pit, had that weird release. I hope we don't get that this time. Like, that's my only complaint with how Tales from the Rancor Pit was. Other than that, I like the idea of continuing that tradition of having a Halloween thing. Because for a long time, IDW was doing the Tales from Vader's Castle series where we would, or Escape from Vader's Castle, or Return to Vader's Stag. It was very, what's the name? Tales from the Camp. No. It was like Tales from the Crypt, or like what's the name of the campfire one?
I was going to say Fear Street, but that's not it.
Although that is similar, but I'm thinking like Tales from the Crypt in that it's very anthology, and that you have like different stories.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
Hold on.
Like they meet up around the campfire. And,
Yeah.
Here's some
Well, I
ghost
like
stories.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is very similar to what I'm thinking. Goosebumps.
I think it is Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, but there's the whatever club.
I keep wanting to think it's like the Midnight Club, but that's I don't think that's the right one.
See, I haven't finished my coffee, so that's what's. Yeah, I won't be. I mean, you're closer to Celebration than we are, but yeah, I mean, like you said, it's still too far for you, and the call. Yeah, we're not going to Celebration this year.
No.
I'm hoping for next year though, because I'm guessing, based on the rotation that they've done in the past, that next year's going to be Orlando. Because based on the rotation, it's usually London, Orlando, Chicago, Anaheim, and then they do the rotation again. That's what they've done so far under Disney's way of doing it. And so before that, they used to also do Germany, and they used to have other.
Yeah.
They would just do Europe in general. Like they had different ones, but now it's just those 4 key locations. Yeah, Fox Kids. That's a throwback.
Is it? It's not Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, is it?
No. I think you're right. It's not the Midnight Club. It's not the Midnight Club. God, I'm gonna feel so dumb when
We'll
somebody
figure it out at
Yeah.
another point
Yeah,
in
we'll
time.
figure it
This
out.
is a Star Wars podcast.
But anyways, it's very similar to those type of things where you get like an anthology story of like, here's some scary story that you know, like one of them was like Dooku as a vampire, and it's like,
I could see how you would like. You're a kid in the Star Wars universe.
and also it's a great throwback to the actor, because if you know about Christopher Lee's career as an actor, it makes it so much better because Christopher Lee was Dracula. he was the Hammer version of Dracula.
Oh my god.
But, so I mean, it's even funnier having him be a vampire, because you're like, oh, that's a great, like, if you're a fan of Christopher Lee and his works and you're a fan of Star Wars, then you get that reference and you're just like, that I love it. And plus, like, the cape and everything, it's very like his outfit is very like classical vampire.
Yeah.
So like, I love it personally.
Yeah.
I think it's a great little, you know, and so I like having these things like where we get like these little weird like stories that are like obviously not canon, but like they're told from the canon perspective, like the because there's the interconnecting story of, like, in the case of Return to Vader's Castle or the Tales from Vader's Castle, it's about an adult version of one of the descendants of the family we don't like in the High Republic era.
Is it the Graphs?
Yeah, the Graphs, which they're good guys at this time. Cause
Yeah.
the Graphs are, because during the Empire time, there was a set of books. Feeling a sneeze coming on. There's a set of books. Hopefully, I don't sneeze in the middle of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a set of books that are called Adventures in Hyperspace that are canon, and it's about these Graph kids running away from the Empire. And they're like junior novels, but it's like a set of books. And they're from Cavan Scott, which is why it makes sense that Cavan Scott introduced the Graphs into the High Republic. Although it's weird, Calvin. Why'd you introduce them as bad guys?
Look, the evil is somewhat out of.
I mean, I don't think all the Graphs are bad, even during the
No.
High Republic era. Like we've had this conversation when talking High Republic.
Yeah.
There's the good and the bad of good Graphs. But yeah, so in the Tales from Vader's Castle and all those, it's about like the descendants of those Graphs who are adults now because they were kids in the hyperspace books. But they're adults now that are like after the events of the movies, before the sequel films. It's like in between. Them going to Vader's castle and dealing with Vinay, Vader's creepy assistant who lives at Vader's castle. Yeah, you forgot about Vinay, didn't you?
Yeah, that was like, you're not important.
Vinay's weird, man.
I know he doesn't go anywhere.
And he lives all the way until if you take the Lego stuff as canon, he lives all the way until after the sequel trilogy, because Poe goes there in the Lego Halloween special, where Vinay is there.
I've been waiting for a new person.
But
That's not what he sounds like.
You're not that far off.
It wouldn't surprise me,
You're not that far off, man. But yeah, so I like that kind of stuff. So like, I haven't finished the Tales from the Rancor Pit. We'll discuss that next week though, because that's next week's topic.
All right.
But we're gonna get a little taste of some of what they're talking about releasing with a Death Star version now, because we've done Vader's Castle, and after IDW lost the license and it went to Dark Horse took over from it and was like, and they even kept Kevin Scott in on it, and they were like, hey, we like your writing, because Kevin Scott's a good writer. I don't blame Dark Horse for keeping him. I mean, that's a smart choice. And they let him do the Tales from the Rancor Pit, which I thought was interesting, changing the scenery. And now we're going to get a Death Star one. And I think that's going to be interesting if they change the scenery every year, and rather than keep it at one location, because then you can tell different types of stories.
There are only so many things that can happen in one location.
Thanks for joining in, Dr. Mad Studios. Thanks for popping in for a second. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
I'm gonna go ahead and, Kevin Scott, if you are watching, I'm gonna pitch you an idea for next year. Since you've already done this year's, because that's why they're like, you've already written it. Obviously, the art and stuff, that's gonna take a little longer. So it's not till September 5th. But the writing is probably done for this one, so you can't make changes. But I'm gonna go ahead and pitch you next year's Tales from the Wampa Cave. Do some stuff like The Thing. You could tell some creepy stories about being stuck on this Arctic planet with this Yeti-like beast with the Wampas. You could tell a Thing-like story because you're stuck in isolation on this ice planet. There's so much you could do with Hoth.
Yeah.
Tales from the Wampa Cave. That's my pitch to you, Kevin Scott. And you can have it. Just have it for free. All I ask is, like, you shout us out or give us a follow. Become our friend. That's all I ask.
All right.
Nothing big. I don't need money.
Okay.
You know it's a good pitch, though.
I mean, it is.
Am I going to have to clip this for TikTok?
You can.
I feel like this is a TikTok clip.
Just the idea of
Being friends with Kevin Scott? I think it's great.
No, it's the fact that you ended that with, and I quote, "I don't need money."
I mean, I do, but
It's not from
I don't.
this.
Yeah. This is a me being, just me making good public relations with Star Wars and content creators, because we love our writers here.
Yeah, we do. Claudia Gray,
Kevin.
Justina Ireland, Kevin
Scott.
Scott. There's another one.
Daniel Jose Older.
Yeah.
DJO. Yeah, we love DJO. mostly High Republic authors
Yeah.
are listed here, but we like other authors
we do
too.
like other authors. We just tend to focus on the High Republic.
Because that's just where we are right now.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite authors hasn't touched the High Republic, and I would love for him to do a High Republic novel, and that's John Jackson Miller. He's known for the Legends Kenobi novel. He did the Knights of the Republic comic book, which is why I love him. He did. He's done a lot of books for. Oh, he did Lost Tribe of the Sith.
All right.
Which are a collection of short stories that are pretty good. I would love to see his take on the High Republic because he's done a lot of Old Republic era, like I said,
Yeah.
Knights of the Republic, Lost Tribe of the Sith. He did Knight Errant, which I haven't finished, but I find intriguing. It's very separated from the rest of Star Wars comparatively. Like when you there's connections to the rest of the galaxy, but it's like set in a
Way.
it's set in a weird place where it's like in between the Knights of the Republic, Old Republic era, and Darth Bane. Like it's between those
Somewhere
eras.
in that area.
And it's just like not connected to the main Galactic Republic. It's like off in an outer rim that's not connected to them, and it's got like feudal Sith lords the way it works because it's like there's Sith lords that are in charge of their own little regions, but they're always
Yeah.
fighting each other. Very, very feudal lord system.
Not surprising when the title of the book is Knight Errant.
Yeah. And so,
Reminds me of another book we've covered on this channel.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ronan.
But yeah.
But yeah, so it's that type of stuff, and I would like to see his take on the High Republic. I think he would have a really good take on High Republic.
All right.
But we're not done talking. Speaking of High Republic, we're not done talking comics.
Oh.
We're actually going to talk a little manga, actually.
Yeah.
So
Lily is
well,
still
we're not there
I know
yet.
we're not there because we went back.
We went backwards. We're with Master Arkoff, Lily's master. Because remember, Lily's master was Master Arkoff, the Wookiee.
Hey.
Edge of Balance Precedent has a final cover,
Oh yeah.
and we have a new synopsis for it. Let me go ahead and pop the cover up though for our viewers at home.
It's a cover. I don't think it needs a spoiler warning.
Yeah, it's just a cover. I'll full screen it just so that way they can enjoy it a little more.
Here you go.
There we go. Edge of Balance Precedent. And Master Arkoff right there, front and center. He is pissed.
He is in a proper rage.
And then we got I forget the name of the alien race, but it's those spider people that are in like the general that's in the Clone Wars. That you know which one I'm talking about. The one that Anakin blows the fuck up by crashing the Venator into. You remember what I'm talking about? But it's one of those.
Is
And speaking
rather upset.
and speaking of Daniel Jose Older, he's writing this.
I like the Edge of Balance things where it's like sometimes when bad people show up,
bad things happen. But yeah, so I think it looks good. I think it's a really nice cover. I'm curious what the story like.
yeah.
So here's a little bit of the synopses that we got.
All right.
150 years before Starlight Beacon shone its light into the outer rim, the galaxy was filled with new threats and nameless unknowns. They capitalized nameless on purpose in that. Banshee is still unexplored when the young Wookiee Jedi Arkoff journeys to Dalna to aid his fellow Jedi in the fight against the secretive faction, the Path of the Open Hand. Along with his former master Ravna and her droid Zizi, Arkoff joins the fight at the Battle of Dalna, and during the struggle, a terrifying threat emerges. Arkoff's longtime friend, Jedi Knight Aslan Rael, who we met at the end of Path of Deceit,
Another crime Jedi.
falls victim to an unseen force whose effect on the Jedi is unlike anything previously encountered. Will Arkoff's past come back to haunt him, or will it be the key to tilting the balance in their fight against the Nihil over a century later? So,
I would love it.
I think we know what's going to happen to Aslan.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything. Well, at this point, it's just speculation.
Yeah, this is all speculation. I think it's going to have to do with the Nameless, because
Yeah.
obviously he's the only one so far who knows really about this threat.
Yeah. And what it kind of does.
He doesn't know what it is, though, or how
He
it
doesn't
happened.
know how it happened. He knows what it does. He doesn't know how it happened.
Because all he knows is that, two Jedi turned into, like, dust things, essentially.
What the fuck happened here?
Yeah, because, he found our two Jedi from Path of Deceit.
Found Kevmo.
Yeah, Kevmo's Inc.
And, Solandra's alive.
Yeah.
Because Rupert is alive, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna kill off Solandra.
Not that it would matter who else dies during Zala Makri,
Oh, yeah.
Master Zala. But yeah, so he found their bodies,
Yeah.
which I thought he was on his way to Jeddah, but I guess I was wrong. He was on his way to Dona. I forgot that that's what they said in the book. And so,
if the
which
battle
of course I am vindicated on my prediction more and more as Phase 2 occurs.
What's up?
Because remember, I predicted at the end of us reading the final book for the junior novels.
Yeah.
In Phase 1. I said that we'd get to see the Battle of Dona.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the big whoopsie that ruined diplomatic relations for years.
Yeah, because Donans don't trust Jedi because of this.
Like, they're not like
the Path.
the Path level. Like,
They're just like, we would rather not work with you.
they're like, we don't want to do that. Like, whereas the Path are very open, and so are the Nihil. Donna is like a very professional. We just don't want to.
Yeah, it's very much like we would rather not. Don't tread on our land, and we won't bother you.
Yeah, you stay over there. We'll stay over here. We're not here to fight anyone.
Yeah,
But a lot of bad shit happened about 100 years ago, so leave us be.
and then of course when we heard how long ago the gap was for Phase 1 and Phase 2,
Yeah.
I immediately made that connection.
I forget what it's called. Like, the Dolnans have a specific name for that event.
Let's see if the internet can help. They just say it. Excuse me. They just say it was a massacre. Let's see.
Like, what is?
I'm looking for it. Don't worry.
I might have it confused with another big like.
Yeah, I can't find the name for it right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it so far my theory is proving more and more correct each day.
Well, on the upside, we know Arkhov is gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
Because he has to live until the Edge of Balance
Yeah.
stuff. And he's still alive at the end of Phase 1.
Yeah.
So can't say the same for Lily's Apprentice.
No.
But I'm excited to see more Arkoff, and I think Edge of Balance has been great.
Yes.
I think Edge of Balance is very much slept on because it's a manga, and so nobody thinks to go check it out because it's not as promoted as say the comics and the novels are.
Yeah.
So everybody I talk to who has read it has thought the same as us, that these are slept on and need to be read. Like, I have not talked to anybody that's been disappointed after reading it.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pep likes it too. Like, I think I threw it Pep and Brandon's way, and I was like, hey, you guys should read that.
Yeah.
And they agree that this is not to be slept on.
Yeah. Edge of Balance is one of. It's probably.
I wouldn't say it's the most crucial in the storytelling.
No, it isn't. But in terms of tone and like portrayal, I think it's definitely up there with. This is definitely a Star Wars story.
Yeah, and it definitely fits the world building of the High Republic era
Yeah.
too. So like, it's not going to continue the main storylines completely. Although I think this one definitely is. I think this one is crucial.
Yeah.
But the first 2 volumes weren't as crucial reading.
No.
But
they had like
they had parts that were there that like they had interconnected weaving.
but they weren't necessary or involved in like the greater plot.
But I'd still recommended them because they're just good world building.
Yeah, they're a story in isolation that explains a lot of like what the High Republic is very good about explaining, like in the Outer Rim, like on Jedi outposts, the problems that can happen.
And this is a showing of that.
Yeah,
because we hear about it, but Edge
see,
of Balance shows us it
Yeah.
from the perspective of these outposts. And also you get Sav Malligan.
that's the name.
We couldn't think of it a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah.
now we did.
I don't dislike them, but they're also not someone I care about.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll enjoy them more as you read
Yeah.
the new High
'Cause
Republic Adventures, which you haven't read yet.
I've seen her show up like a couple of times.
Yeah, because she was in the first set of Adventures
Yeah.
comics, and then she was in Edge of Balance, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But now she's the main character in her own Adventures comic, where she's going on pirate adventures with Dexter Jetster and Maz Kanata,
Yeah.
which is great. So, which once again, that's another thing we predicted. Like, well, no, we didn't predict that.
We didn't predict that.
But we put the pieces together once they announced that Adventures
yeah.
Volume 2 was going to be about her.
All right.
So,
Well,
I think that's it for news. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back and do our review.
All right. See you in a few minutes.
Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm up in Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No. And since the carbon night's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together. Yeah. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. The shades of cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together, now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. The shades of cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm up in Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Shades of cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon. Whoopie at my side. I'm solo.
All right, everybody, we're back.
Yeah.
And we're ready to talk.
The
Tales of
Unusual
Enlightenment.
Suspect.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and flash our spoiler warning.
Yeah. You're getting spoiled. I don't know why I said it like that. That was so... Why did I... That's not what I meant.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, y'all are gonna. So this is a spoiler warning for Tales of Enlightenment: The Unusual Suspects.
Oh, you can make it blink. I didn't know you could do that. Oh,
Yeah.
you're pressing.
Yeah, I just press it over and over.
All right.
Use my-
Here's your spoiler warning.
Yeah, for real though. Yeah, here you go. And then
For a
yeah.
short story.
yeah, short story. How do we want to go about this? I feel like we're gonna do a new thing where we don't just
Let's just talk.
yeah, let's just
I'm
talk
not
about
even-
it. I don't because one we're running on time because
Yeah.
I do
You have things to do.
I'm
today.
going to a movie today.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to see the
You'll
new
never
Ant-Man.
guess which one.
Yeah, new Ant-Man. Yeah, because I'm a nerd. Next week though, I want to see Cocaine Bear.
Mm.
We'll have to talk about what because I have a feeling you have no idea what that's about.
I know it's about a bear doing cocaine
Yeah, and it's
from a
based,
drug drop going wrong.
based
in
on
the
a true story.
80s,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, based on a true
Because
story.
everyone was on cocaine in the 80s, including bears, apparently.
Well, it's more of that the bear attacked the, the drop went wrong, and then this movie is the Cocaine Bear movie is more of just a idea of what could have happened in between them finding in between the bear taking the cocaine and them finding the dead bear filled with cocaine in its system. Obviously, they don't know what actually happened in between those hours, but
I wouldn't if you were.
so this is just an imaginative.
I know,
Yeah,
I know. But if you came to me and, like,
told you that a bear was on cocaine.
if you came to me as, like, any form of law enforcement, right? And we're like, so we found a bunch of cocaine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Did we make an arrest? No,
no. Why? Why not?
because it was inside a bear.
It was inside a bear.
Yes, sir.
Are you fucking with me right now?
No, there was. I forget how much it was. It was a lot of cocaine.
Fucking brick.
Like it was. From what I remember
I
hearing, it was like measured in pounds of how much this bear took. Now I'm looking.
Yeah.
75 pounds of
God.
cocaine, valued at $2 million.
Ooh, someone wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways, to actual topic
yeah.
today though, because like
So
I
what do
said,
you
we're gonna
wanna
go see a
talk
movie.
first about Unusual Suspect.
It takes place during the Battle of Jeddah,
Yeah, it does.
which is why I was like, oh, we should probably talk about this.
Yeah.
Because we just talked about the Battle of Jeddah last week, so
Yeah.
I was like, we should continue with that era of Star Wars for a little bit, and then we can jump forward and talk Tales from Rancor Pit.
Mhm.
and it's obviously at the Enlightenment, because that's where most of these stories take place. But it focuses on Muna and Parali, Keth's friends, and them waiting on Keth because he's busy doing his official work.
With that Santuka guy.
Santuka. What is he? Is he a Tuca cat?
No, I think Creighton doesn't give a shit.
It was I think it was Parali that said it that way. No, it was Muna. Muna said it that way, and Pirelli corrected them. That's right. That Santuka guy.
They're all.
He's a Tuca cat. Now I'm just thinking of a Tuca cat with like a Santeca uniform on and like the little robes, like we see in Force Awakens. Because we got Santeca in Force Awakens until he dies at the hands of Kylo within the first 5 minutes. Because Kylo's like, stop reminding me that I'm a Solo.
Shut up.
Also, you won't tell me where the map is.
Fine, I guess I don't need you.
But yeah, so Keth is busy helping out
and
Santeca. So this tells us where in the story this is. This is before the bombing.
This happens before the first bombing, because there are like 3 of them that happen in the Battle of Jeddah.
Well, yeah, because there's the one that's in the comics. Then there's the one that happens that kills Santeca.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one that starts the riot. Or no, after the riot. That happens because of the riot, sorry.
No, there's one where it's Creighton's son, and it's one of the like ambassadors, and she's like trying to flirt with him.
Oh yeah.
And Creighton turns her down and has to yank her back out of her apartment because someone blew that up.
Yeah.
And then
there's 4.
There's a lot of them.
God. Too many explosions to keep track of.
Yeah. But
anyways, the main point of this story is that they're just talking and speculating.
And Parali are like,
and the reason that they want Keth around is because Parali in particular. Well, no. Parali's trying to figure out in particular what's up with this guy in the back corner, and Muna's like, oh, I could tell you that they're a member of the Brotherhood of
the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door.
Yeah, Brotherhood of the Ninth Door.
And she's like, well, stop looking at him.
Yeah, because Parali's like staring, and Muna's like, don't do that.
And she's like, aren't they the Dark Siders?
Yeah, yes.
Which is true. And she's like, does it really matter? It's Enlightenment.
We don't care.
We don't care. That's none of our business.
It is creepy, though.
It's a little bit creepy, but they're not doing anything. They're just hanging out there.
And, of course, they start talking to Creighton about it, and he's just like, I
don't fucking care.
But then somebody starts some trouble.
Yep. So...
Yeah, I'll let you...
Thing that should help inform people. Creighton occasionally will give people information for the right price.
Like any good bartender. You know.
Yep.
Bartender on the side while being an information broker.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, great. What happened this time? And the people there are like, hey, are any of you Creighton? By the way, we took care of your bodyguards.
The Twinkle Sisters.
Yeah.
Which shows how tough these people are, because the Twinkle Sisters are not to be fucked with.
Yeah, you don't mess about with that.
But yeah, basically this explosion occurs that, like...
They shot up Creighton's bar.
Yeah.
Shot up the Enlightenment.
Which is... What a bunch of balls on these guys.
That is... not something you do lightly.
No. Because the Enlightenment, I mean, when we were introduced to the Enlightenment, the whole idea is that the Enlightenment is in a way holy ground.
The Enlightenment is neutral territory.
Yeah, it's in a way its own holy ground in that everybody comes here and everybody agrees, no fighting.
You can't fight on holy ground.
No fighting on holy ground, Highlander.
It's like, but I want to. No.
And so, during this time, they were kind of starting to... No, they hadn't started talking to the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door member yet.
They had.
But then the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door member starts to help them get out of this situation.
And so, the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door is like, kind of slipped past, has kind of slipped into the back.
As a Brotherhood of the Ninth Door member does.
Yeah. And so they go, and he's like, hey, so everyone's kind of like taking cover and hidden a little bit after, the bar got shot up.
Yeah.
And he's like motioning to Muna and Pirali. He's like, hey, come here.
Come here, I can get y'all out of here.
I have a plan.
Yeah.
And so they go, they're like, okay. They're like, why are you helping us?
Because it's the right thing to do.
And Muna is like, I'm not.
They're not convinced.
They're
they
not
think,
convinced.
Because they think, Pirali in particular thinks that it's a give and take situation.
Yeah. And it's.
But at the end of the day, no.
No.
It's very much just, this was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you guys are going to judge me because y'all know what I am.
Yeah. So there's no point in me trying to be like, da-da-da-da-da.
And so he uses his little trickery abilities of being able to appear like other things to people to work things out.
Yeah. This is another moment where I'm like, man, these wannabe gangsters got off pretty easy, all things considered.
Yeah, because all he really did is knock him out, essentially.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, you got like so lucky that you didn't get set on fire from this.
yeah. And Kraden, of course, is just happy that
Like, yay,
that Enlightenment is still standing.
Yep.
But yeah, so they knock him out, and then once again they're like, so what do you want from this? He's like, nothing. That's all. I just wanted to do the right thing.
But if you think I wanted to get something out of it, sure, whatever.
But anyways, and like they realize, they're like, how'd you do that, by the way? And they're like, because the rumors of what we can do are not untrue.
Yeah.
We do.
I just show people what they want to see.
And then he's like, all right, see ya. And they're like, they start to think on that. They're like, was he doing that to us the whole time?
Yeah.
But before we can even get an answer to that, he's already gone.
It's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so, Mendoku, that was his name.
Yeah.
Mendoku's already gone.
Yep.
And so,
like, goodbye.
yeah. And then, of course, they're like, well, shit, now what? And Kraden's like, you can help clean up, that's what.
You can help clean up, and someone has to pay for that, like, barrel of expensive ale you guys used to do this.
Yeah, because basically, in order to knock him out, they essentially blew up this, like, ale that's, like, super expensive.
Yeah, it's from Coruscant. I don't know how you would even make ale on Coruscant, so that's probably why.
Yeah, just like Teresian ale. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's like a city world.
And it's like, don't worry. You won't have to pay it off all at once now.
Yeah, because Kraden's reasonable.
Yeah.
Kraden's like, he'll be on your tab for a minute.
And then a building explodes at the end of that story.
Yeah, and that's when they're like, oh, this is,
Yeah.
we're not done here. Because it's the second spire, which is where the treaty was.
Yeah. This is the first time.
Yeah, this is the one that kills Santeca.
Yeah.
And of course they immediately are like, wait a minute, wasn't Keth supposed to be there?
Yeah, and they're worried about their friend. So. And Kraden's got a weird relationship with Keth.
Because he likes him, but but also Keth has a huge tab, sort of.
Yeah.
Like it's an ongoing tab thing.
It's like if your uncle owed a bar and you just never paid off what you owe.
Yeah. But like you joke that you're gonna eventually pay it off. But
That's
you just
the relationship that Creighton and Keth had.
yeah. We have
Slight
to
spoilers.
say had because
Slight spoilers, Keth isn't around anymore.
I mean he's still alive during the events
At
of this
this
short
moment,
story.
he is.
But by the end of Battle Jeddah, no.
No.
But yeah, so
He's a good kid.
that's Tales from
Shame
Enlightenment.
what happened to him.
That's Tales from Enlightenment, Unusual Suspects.
Yeah.
Um,
So we know that there are people in the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door that aren't.
and I think because that's kind of what the Tales of
I think
that's what
there's-
Tales of Enlightenment is kind of all about. Each
Yeah.
short story, it's about showing us a perspective of different Force-using cultures
Yeah.
and showing us that the perspective of these cultures is based on how we already view them from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously, looking at the Path of the Open, say last month's, looking
Yeah.
at the Path of the Open Hand, we already had our judgments going in because,
Yeah, because we've seen what the Path of the Open Hand does.
but
But to
Because-
the people...
within the group, it's a completely different experience, and we get that from that character that's introduced in that short, and what
Yeah.
his idea is, and it becomes a more reasonable ideology when you listen to that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have other information that tells us it's not.
Yeah.
And it's why Keth was even like, hey, these guys aren't completely unreasonable. I don't think they're correct, but they're not unreasonable.
Yeah. Oof.
Which is why, like, in the Battle of Jeddah, when he's talking to Salandra about them, he's like, I don't think they're bad guys, but they're definitely up
Yeah.
to something.
Oof.
Which is what adds them to the suspect list eventually. I mean, because Keth's already had a run-in with one, because that short story takes place before the Battle of Jeddah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the story before that was the Jedi one, because I think we didn't have one in...
Yeah, the previous Tale of Enlightenment is Keth listening to this
Yeah, it's a
hyperspace
two-parter. It's the two-parter.
prospector dealing with another Jedi
Yeah.
and how they, like, helped save her.
Which goes into the idea of how the public view Jedi,
Yeah.
and how, like, even during this time, Jedi are just such a grand thing that, like,
Like, meeting a Jedi is a sign that you either got really lucky and one was there,
or you got unlucky.
or you got really, really unlucky and you happen to be where a Jedi was.
Yeah. And,
Like,
but they're
Jedi
also...
are good to... I'm
Yeah.
gonna go on...
Yeah.
Jedi are good to have around. However, they are also an
Almost-
indication of how completely fucked
They're
you
almost
might
a
be.
harbinger.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I think in a lot of places people kind of not quite panic a little bit when a Jedi shows up.
they
but
get
it's like-
wary.
yeah, they're like, oh shit, the Jedi are here.
And why some people don't even trust the Jedi. Like,
Yeah.
some people are like, oh, trouble shows up whenever these guys shows up. It's very much like in a comic book story
Yeah.
where it's the question of, is the superhero the problem or the savior?
Yeah.
Are these supervillains being caused because the superhero's around, or is the superhero it's
The way that I view it is like it's an indication rather than an indictment.
but it can be used as an indictment depending on your view.
Yeah.
And I think I think the Tales of Enlightenment short stories are a great like way of looking at things, because none of these are from the perspective of these Force using
No.
traditions either.
They're like
they're
these are
from
regular
outsiders,
people.
because they're all either from Keth's perspective or his friends
Yeah.
at this bar that are just telling stories or meeting people that come from these traditions.
Yeah.
And so now we got the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door, which is a new to canon and even, I think, new to Legends group. So, like, very new group.
I want to see let's see where this Ninth Door Brotherhood
Because
takes us.
I'm now curious if the Ninth Door are even involved at all with what happened on Jeddah. Because, like...
I remember that there are at least 2 of them involved. I don't know if they're involved
I don't
any
know if
more
the
than
whole-
that,
yeah.
or if that was a rogue element within them.
Exactly, because this member does not... He doesn't...
I remember that out of the 2 that were connected, one does kill the other.
Yeah. And they are members of the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door. But the question is, are they truly members of the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door, or are they using that religion to justify
Yeah.
working with the Path? because the path. It's weird that the path would work with the Force using tradition.
I feel like this is the mother went and talked to some people in private, because that's the only way I can think that it would happen.
Because what the path's public image of belief is does not meet what the Brotherhood of the Ninth Door do.
Yeah.
Because the path is straight up no Force usage.
And if I remember correctly, they went, it's the fucking crafts. God damn it. I remember important detail from my brain.
Yeah.
Mr. Graff is the one that hires those two.
Mm-hmm. Because obviously the mother can't do it outright.
Yeah.
Because you can't connect it to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mother is playing 5D chess. She is the Palpatine of this, I've seen a really good, I can't remember who said it, but if Phase 1 is the original trilogy,
Yeah.
this is the prequel trilogy,
Yeah.
and we're seeing that rise to power very similar with how, the mother's in the background, very much like Palpatine weaving things.
Yeah.
And not ever actually getting their hands dirty, but always, right there in the background pushing somebody else to get their hands dirty and do something for them. And always playing against themselves.
Yep.
Because if you're not playing against yourself, then you're playing against your enemy, and then they can win if you're playing against your enemy. But if you're playing against yourself, you never lose.
Damn you.
But yeah. So that's
Tales of Enlightenment, Unusual Suspect.
I give it a 8.
I agree.
I'm
not arguing.
It's not. It's
a good one.
It's a good short story. Another George Mann hitting it out of the park. Consistency, man.
Yeah.
George Mann, if anything, you are consistent. I'm glad that he's been getting more chances to write High Republic stuff because he's been really good.
Yeah.
Next week, this time for sure, Tales from the Rancor Pit.
Watch another short story be released.
No.
They're not going to.
It would be that was the one for this month.
All right.
We don't get one until next month, till March. And then what else is coming up? Is there anything I need to announce? The week after that, we'll have a guest.
Mm.
If they remember, which I'll do my usual. Hey,
week before.
Yeah, week before. Hey, you still good? So we're gonna be leaving the High Republic for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because next week and the week after. And then next week is the last one for February.
Oh.
Because February's over after next week.
Huh.
Because it's already we're already past the halfway point of the month.
Damn.
It's the 18th. And February ends on the 28th.
10 days.
Yeah. And next week's the 25th, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But so next week we'll announce our March calendar. And then I need to figure out if we'll have a guest for our Bad Batch episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we will. But the person who signed up for it they're pretty busy right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I do not know if they will still be busy by the time Bad Batch finishes.
Right.
So I will probably be talking to them more consistently
Make
again.
Sure.
Yeah, because we haven't been talking as much. Usually we talked a lot more, but we haven't been as much lately. So I need to check in with them and then be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Be a good friend and be
Yeah.
like, how you doing?
You good?
You good? Because they signed up for Bad Batch way back. When Bad Batch Season 2 was announced, we were like, hey, we doing this? Because they're a big Bad Batch fan. So, and then I don't know if anything else needs to be added to the calendar at the moment. Nope. Because I don't have to add the September 5th thing of Tales from the Death Star yet, because season, yeah, because that's September, and currently our calendar for the rest of season 1 will end in August.
Cool.
Yeah, it will hopefully end in August, if nothing else is added. Because
I can't believe you convinced me to do. What are we on, like 60 now?
almost today was 58.
I can't believe you convinced me to do 58 episodes.
Hey, I'm convincing you to do a second
Yeah.
podcast with me.
I know. I don't know how I got suckered into this, but I'm glad I did.
All right, well, so I'll let you do your little promo first.
I get to go first.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you got something to promote this week.
Which is rare. So, for those of you who don't know, a friend of ours has recently decided to start up a campaign.
Yeah, I think in the past he's thought about live streaming them, but
He has, but this is the first time where we've like genuinely gotten concerned and started going through the motions, making sure everything's all right.
yeah.
So, every Sunday from 5 to 7, you can catch. I'm not good at this,
It's
but
okay.
I'm trying.
I can pull it up. Let's see.
Every Sunday from 5 to 7, you can catch me and a couple of friends of ours over on Trials at the Trials of Naboo, which is the name of the game, over on the Steam Dungeon.
Yeah, the
Is
Steam
it-
Dungeon. Yeah, that's the YouTube channel. Yep.
We are going through a 5th edition D&D campaign, and it has been pretty interesting so far.
Oh yeah, it's one.
On-
It's all one word, right?
Yeah. You can catch us 5 to 7 on Twitch in the Steam Dungeon.
Yeah, so it'll be twitch.tv/Steam the Steam Dungeon.
Yes.
Let me make sure I've got it. And I'll go ahead and for the YouTube, I'll go ahead and link it down below after.
All right.
That way you guys can find
Yeah.
it easily. Uh-oh.
Is it not?
Is it not the Steam Dungeon? Am I spelling something wrong? Okay, it's just Steam underscore dungeon with Steam all
With
caps.
Steam in all caps. But yeah.
But once again, I'll link it below for you guys to find easily on if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
It says it's
So with that-
live, right?
Shouldn't be. It
Oh,
might
it
be-
was just showing me the last stream.
Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, you can catch us there tomorrow.
Can you give us a little preview of what the campaign's going to be about?
At the moment,
Or is
We
it
have-
too early?
a lot of our characters have returned to the city of Goldport after a little bit of a misadventure involving a hurricane. Some are searching for purpose, some lost artifacts, some just for something to cook.
Cool. I just needed that elevator pitch. That way we can give y'all a little taste of what the adventure is going to be about.
Yeah.
Because, you got to give that elevator pitch.
Mostly, it's a bit of a dungeon crawl
Okay.
with some light
Which fits
characters.
the name of the channel.
So with that, I guess we should go and talk about the Mopcast Network
Yeah,
and
let's
how
go
they've
ahead.
been really nice to us.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and shout out to Mopcast Network, who provide this space. You can... They're another podcasting group.
Yeah.
And you can find them on youtube.com/Mopcast Network or on any other podcasting app that you use. They're on Apple, they're on Spotify, all that good stuff. If you can't find them, then you can reach out to them and let them know, hey, you're not on Bleep Bloop, whatever podcasting app you like to listen to. And so let them know, and they'll find a way to get on there. They have shows such as Cult Movie Cantina, which you can kind of see the
Yeah, it's
poster of. It's hidden by Batman and Riddler.
Yeah.
And on there we talk about little cult movies. The Legend of Billie Jean is one of them that's coming up. And then we also, in between each movie, we do a little cult meeting where we just talk about our week and whatever else and tell y'all what we're going to watch next time. And then we also have Tuesdays with Scotty, which are in the work. He was here last week to promote.
Yeah.
We are bringing it back, baby. And that's just basically talking about whatever Scotty feels like because it's his show.
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's his show. We'll talk about whatever. We usually get guests and we'll interview them, and then we also just talk about whatever else happens to be like on Scotty's mind that might have been in the news or a creepy story and mysteries that are unsolved, fun stuff. And then that's it for that stuff at the moment because he said everything else is on hiatus at the moment. There's other stuff that we want to bring back, but we're in the works of, so it's too early to say. But you can find my pretty face there as well because I'm a co-host and co-producer on those shows. So you can see me as I can put my face on the screen whenever I want because I run the board.
I do not understand how you have the free time. Not the free time. How you have so much time in your week.
Oh, I don't know either. Because I make a video, a YouTube.
You're a busy man.
Because I release a YouTube video every day in the morning, and then I have to record and release a TikTok that also goes onto my YouTube shorts and my Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then I also have to make a new YouTube video for that day that goes to the Patreons, so that way they can watch it a week before it's uploaded, before it's released publicly to the YouTube. It's uploaded to YouTube, but it's not released publicly. It's hidden for the Patreons to watch. Which, speaking of, we want to shout out to our Patreon sponsors. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley for supporting us every month.
Thank you.
And you can find us on patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. If you're watching on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/Escape Reality Films. Be sure to follow or subscribe. And shout out to Matt Miak for subscribing to us every month. You're a good friend. I mean, he helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
He's there for me when I'm struggling through Jedi Fallen Order, that's for sure. I mean, he's the one that helped me with the arena. I shared that story back when I was dealing with that. He helped me through the arena. And then, of course, is there anything else before I hit G&G? And I think that's it for Mobcast stuff.
I think so.
Yeah, so we want to go ahead and give a shout out to Gamers and Geeks and Engage Gaming, who share the actual public space that owns this little studio that Mobcast rents out. Gamers and Geeks is our local gaming shop found on Moffett and Howells Ferry. They're like right on that corner in that little shopping center. So if you're ever in Mobile, Alabama, there they are. They have card games and all that good stuff. There's an arcade in the back where if you pay $10 for the day, get a little wristband and free to play machines. No quarters, no coins, no nothing. You just hit the button and play. Engage Gaming and lets you play on consoles and basically is like a rent a console essentially, but within like you don't take it home or anything. You stay in the shop and they have the console set up with the TVs and you can play PS5. You can play the current Xbox Series X. You can play the best of PCs because they got really good PCs here. They got VR machines, and they also started selling video games now. So if you want like older games, they sell some games now because they did offer also you using the games that they have whenever you do the rental thing. But now you can also buy games from them. I've seen some older games that gave me some throwbacks to back in the day that I was like, I kind of want that game because it's been a minute. And they offer them pretty fair prices. And so, but yeah, if you join their membership, the hourly rate for the rental is lessened. So they have like an hourly rate for how long you play each console that you use. It's across the board. So it's like I think VR is more expensive, but everything else is like across the board, same price, which makes sense. And then the rental, if you pay the monthly membership fee, it's reduced by a percentage because you're a member.
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yep.
I don't think I missed anything. So I guess we'll see you guys next week where we're going to talk Tales from the Rancor Pit for real this time.
Yeah.
I just had to talk about this short story because I was like, it's out. We should probably talk about it.
It's out. It's correlated to the last thing. It's the most recent.
Yeah, we should just talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
And, you know. All right. So see you guys next week. I have spoken.
Later. Be safe. I'm changing it every time.
solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbon night's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. The shades are coming from my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon. Whoopie at my side. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Solo. I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should. Join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone.